Negro Exciting News Fun Show, and I'm your host, DJS. So, we're going to talk about now is the situation in Hong Kong. Yeah. So, basically, there's been like riots there for 10 weeks. Yeah. For 3 days, they occupied the airport, but today they said the airport's now being cleared. Yeah. Uh, So the airport's under siege, was under siege, and they had passengers, but the passengers, passengers were still, passing through the airport like nothing was happening. But while, the protesters and the police were at it, that's a crazy kind of situation, isn't it? So there's a big riot and fight going on, but visitors are just pushing their baggage going along, just looking while everyone else is fighting and killing, and police are smashing people and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Undercover officer beaten. Female protester shot in her eye with a smoke grenade. Yeah. Fired from a police gun. Yeah, I mean that's what I saw too. You see, when they were yesterday, a woman was showing why they were protesting. She was saying, pointing to her eye, yeah, and then pointing at the officers, like covering her eyes because you shot the woman in her eye. That's why we're here protesting now. Yeah, I mean it's been going on for 10 weeks. So basically, a Hong Kong resident, a Chinese Hong Kong lady, was saying she thinks that the mainland Chinese, are gonna eventually, come and occupy. They want to occupy Hong Kong and take Hong Kong over. Yeah, because of I mean, for people who do not know, and I bet you most people don't know, especially the younger people who don't know anything. Yeah, you know, Britain, Great Britain, former Great Britain occupied, Hong Kong for 100 years. Now the situation was, what was that? 100 years that would have been. They gave it back. Hong Kong was given back to the Chinese in 1997. Yeah, so in 1897, you know, what was known as the Nanking Treaty allowed Great Britain to rule Hong Kong for 100 years. So what happened? The British were in Hong Kong, or rather China. Let's say Hong Kong, and no, it was China. Yeah, and they creating a problem by making Chinese people drug addicts, opium and heroin. So the Chinese said, right, this heroin is ruining our lives, ruining our civilization, which has been going on for thousands of years. Pardon me, sorry. Yeah. So what they did, they attacked the opium. Yeah. Yeah, they attacked the opium warehouses. Yeah. They attacked the opium warehouses and they burned down the opium warehouses. So the British government, the English government, British government said, well, you cannot afford to pay us back the millions or billions of pounds, for the heroin you've destroyed. So we can come to a compromise. We will occupy Hong Kong for 100 years. So, the Chinese said yes. I mean, what can you do? You have to say yes because these people will destroy you. They will literally destroy you. Yeah? If you do not obey. So that's the Nanking Treaty. The British will occupy Hong Kong for 100 years. So that's 1897 to 1997. So till 1997, Britain had to leave Hong Kong. And I can remember the day on TV. These British people, they got this way about them. Like they fuck you up, but still talking like they helped you. And it was wonderful. Was it a wonderful experience for you when we colonized you? Yeah, that's the kind of after attitude they have. I can remember it was on TV. Yeah, I can remember. I was living in Harlesden, northwest London, and it was on the TV, and it was like, oh yes, we have to hand it back, but we done well, we done something good, all this kind of shit. Yeah, kind of attitude. Like even though they killed you and thrust their culture on you and killed you and done all kinds of shit to you, they still want you to appreciate it because they civilized you or something. Yeah, that's the kind of attitude. Yeah. So anyway, like I'm saying, yeah. So they're fighting. They're fighting up there. Still fighting now in Hong Kong. Yeah, it's terrible, but in a way, it's good. To see people standing up for themselves. I mean, these people be normally decent people who are working, providing for their families, thinking of the future. I mean, Asian people, Oriental people, they work very hard, very, very hard. I mean, one guy I follow on here on YouTube, what's he called himself? Sometimes he changes his name. Yeah, Randy Flag. What's his name? Anyway, Winalawai, Losing black and abroad in Asia. Anyway, Randy. Let's call him Randy. Randy was saying, when I first listened to him, one of the things in China, he said every single conversation is about money. Every conversation, if he's out in public in a restaurant or whatever, yeah, every conversation is about money. So for these Chinese people or Hong Kong residents, whatever you want to call them, to break their cycle of money earning to protest, it shows you how passionate they must be about this. For them to say, right, forget the money now. We have to fight. That shows you how serious this situation is for them. Yeah. So it's really bad to see these people's life disrupted, fighting for their lives. And like I said, the lady today, she sounded very worried that mainland China will come and try and occupy Hong Kong. And that seems to be what's happening. I mean, the Chinese seem to be trying to take over the whole world. Yeah. In Africa, I understand now they control the Caribbean. Yeah, they control the Panama Canal. Yeah. So like, then Africa, yeah, Africans are giving everything away for fuck all. Yeah. Then also, yeah, with this Africa thing, this singer, hip hop artist, R&B artist, Akon. There's a big story how Akon turned on the lights in Africa. And I was praising this guy so much. I was saying, how could Akon, a singer, a musician, who's got a record label called Convict Music, what's lower and lousier than that? Convict Music. This guy had a project to turn on the lights in West Africa, and the politicians, the leaders of Africa can't do so, but a musician can. Yeah. So what the story Akon told was that he was trying to bring his grandmother, who raised him in Senegal, to America, but she didn't want to leave. She's just happy in her village, but in her village there's no electricity. So he's like, I'm living this good life here. I've gone to America. I'm living this good life, living in mansions, whatever. And my grandma, who raised me and I love with all my heart and soul. Well, he didn't actually say that, but that's the way I'm interpreting it. Yeah. Still in the darkness. What can I do? So he came up with the idea that instead of making his grandma come out of Senegal, yeah, he can bring the light to her so she can enjoy and have a bit of civilization. Though he didn't use that word, yeah, but that's the gist of it, isn't it? Lights, yeah. So then he came up with this idea about bringing the lights. I was praising this guy. I even made a video about it. Then on a different video, one day I heard it was a Chinese credit, how was it phrased? Chinese credit line. So I was like, oh. Chinese credit line. Uh-oh. Yeah. So hold on. If they default on paying the credit, that means now all those countries that Acon brought lights to, yeah, now China will control it. And I was like, uh-oh, I thought this guy was doing good. I think he's a fucking sellout. Yeah? It's obvious, man. If it's a Chinese credit line, these Africans can't pay off the credit, yeah, which the leaders will never pay that money. Those leaders in those countries, when they get money allotted to them, they pocket it. They put it in Switzerland, they take it to Italy, they bring it here to the United Kingdom. They don't spend it on the fucking people. So that means now all those countries that that Acon brought the light to, sooner or later, China will be ruling those countries. Yeah. So what I noticed as well, when Acon named the countries, or I found the name of the countries, they were all French African countries. Yeah, I think there could have been one British speaking country. I'm not sure, but they were definitely French African countries, francophone. They speak French there. Yeah. Anyway, forget that. Okay. So like I'm saying, they're fighting out there now. I mean, how long will this fighting go on? Yeah, it was very, very terrible, very, very horrible to see this constant battling. Yeah, people with umbrellas shielding their faces, people being battered, and those Chinese police, they really fight hard. They're not pussyfooting around. They're gonna damage you. They're gonna maim you. They'll kill you. Yeah, it's very bad. I really hope they can rectify this situation very soon and life can get back to normal as soon as possible. DJ S and I'm out.